So first of all, good evening. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Nir, for hosting us.
My pleasure.
My name is Nir Crystal. She gave me only 4 hours, so okay, you are here. Okay, our plan for tonight. First of all, I'm here in order to convince you that me and my team called Rananim is the best team to lead Ranana in the next decade, and I try to do it. And to move forward along the highlights, the main issues and the main challenges of Ranana for the next decade. Prior to that, 5 short minutes, I'll let you have some overview about myself in order for us to know better, and then we talk about Ranana. Of course, I'm here for any questions, so please feel free. All right? Okay, so let's start. Nir Crystal, 46, born in Tel Aviv, 20 years living in Ranana. Upon our marriage, our 3 daughters were born here. The oldest one is waiting for the army service, just finished the Metro West. And I have twins on the 9th grade, one in Alon and one in Rimon. 3 months ago, I quitted my position as a VP of marketing, sales, and all commercials of a pharmaceutical company. And behind me, 18 years of high-level management in our health industry in Israel. I started on the year 2000 at Clalit Health Services as the customer service manager and the marketing manager of Clalit at the Dan Petah Tikva district. After that, I used to be the managing director of Clalit Mushlam and all Clalit health insurances. My next position was the VP at Herzliya Medical Center, the private hospital located in Herzliya, and the last one, the pharmaceutical company. As I told you, I quitted 3 months ago as I believe that this duty, this position of mayor of Ranana is going to be basically the mission of my life. As I told my kids, 20 years ago, it was our parents' turn. In another 20 years, it will be my kids' turn, and now it's our generation turn. As of the age of 14, I started volunteering in the community. It's an uncured disease, guys. No, it never leaves you. I started at the Fire Scouts of Tel Aviv. This is the youth organization of the volunteers in the fire department of Tel Aviv. Mainly, guys come there only for 1 year. You know, the most enthusiastic stay until the army service. I stayed there for 15 years, and between 1995 to the year 2000, I was the commander of the volunteer division at the fire brigade of Tel Aviv. Upon we got here, I started volunteering in schools, in the Scouts, Shevet Hadar, which is located here. My 3 kids are having fun there. And 8 years ago, in 2010, I have established the Parents Patrol of Ranana, dealing with all safety and security matters of our youngsters by means of alcoholism, smoking, violence, bike riding, okay? A phenomenon that landed on us 5 years ago. And for the recent 5 years, I'm a city council member. I'm a member of 9 municipal committees, which is an enormous number due to the fact that I'm a member of the opposition. I started my political involvement in Ranana as a member of Hofri, as Hofri's list. He lost to Bielski on the last round, and we got two members of city council, meaning that all municipal committees have been divided for two people. So I got 9, but my main proud is of the projects that I had the privilege to lead. Here, the last one was the new traffic light on Ben Gurion Street and the 531 highway, in which Netivei Israel told me that there were many accidents over there, and Netivei Israel have told me that we'll never get a traffic light and nothing will happen there, since the traffic on this interchange is lower than the hi, good evening. Is lower than the criteria for having a traffic light. It took me 1 year to convince them, and finally we got into this traffic light and saving some lives. In addition, on last March, I have been, I finally managed to move, to pass the decision in order to film and to broadcast online the city council meetings. Okay, it took 4.5 years in which the coalition had opposed to my offer to film these meetings. They didn't want you to know that most of the meetings take only 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. Guys, it's a shame. It's a complete shame. If you recall the drainage tax that we got on 2015, it was on a volume of 50 million shekels. We have managed to save 12.5 million shekels, 640 shekels per each family in Ra'anana in average. That's a project that I led with Chaim Broide. It was the only project that we did together. Prior to that, we had basically we got the decision only a few months ago regarding the airport of Herzliya that was supposed to be moved to our northern part, okay, northern to Leva Park and Kiryat Sharet. They wanted to combine the flights of Herzliya with the flights of Sde Dov in Tel Aviv, the private flights, not the commercial to Eilat. But it should have led to 120,000 landing and departures per year, meaning 330 per day. It would have been ruining the quality of life of these neighborhoods, and we managed to have it postponed. Basically, they have decided now they want to move it to Hadera. I don't know what will be eventually, because the people of Hadera are now opposing, but it's not our business anymore. And in addition, I had the honor to lead. Basically, it started as a protest, but the revolution in our postal service in Ra'anana. I do not know if you recall, but in 2014, the average waiting time at the postal office in Obstelen was 40 minutes, and nowadays it's 9 minutes. Many services that are now common knowledge all over Israel have been started in Ra'anana as a pilot. And in a few cities, like the option to book, to schedule our appointment on the internet, like the ability to get our packages in 8 private businesses around the city, and not only in postal service offices, and like the ability to get a delivery guy. You can invite a delivery guy at home, okay? Eventually, we have succeeded in getting really a good collaboration with them, and we are happy about that. And nowadays, once in a few months, we have a status meeting with them in order to check out about our services in Ra'anana. I've led some other projects with Nitzolei Shoah, with the elders on Batei Avot, with the scouts, with officers at Tzahal. As I told you, I consider myself as a real civil servant. It runs in my blood, I love it, and that's the reason for me to be here in front of you tonight. Let's talk a little bit about Ra'anana, please. If you would become the mayor within 10 days, 12 days, okay, what would be the first issue that you will deal with?
Traffic.
Yeah.
Bike and traffic.
By what means of traffic?
Traffic, I would put free buses
Free buses, okay.
to roam around the place because,
Leave your car at home.
exactly,
Better bike
There's no
lanes.
parking.
Bike
we
lanes.
don't need, but yes,
There's no
The
parking.
issue of how there are so many people who don't have food in Ra'anana.
You're correct. You're correct.
I'm
And
working with it.
many people do not know that.
I know.
Okay. I will.
There's 2,500 families.
Keeping the kids in Ra'anana.
Keeping the kids in Ra'anana
Rather than
is
going
great.
off and doing
Great.
You mentioned education.
Sorry? Tama. Okay. Problems of Tama. Okay. Okay.
and security of kids roaming around the place, banks,
Great.
and many aspects on that.
Okay.
The fact that in not only Ra'anana but in the whole of Israel, there's a huge problem in the elementary schools that children finish elementary schools with a great percentage of them without
With the grade, sorry?
percentage,
Okay.
without accurate reading and without comprehension and without basic math.
Okay,
So it is, and there is a solution to it.
there is.
Yeah.
Smaller classes.
Crime,
Crime.
outrageous,
Okay. Where do you live?
Harvard Ave.
Abadan, okay. I know. There's a problem on the eastern side, I know.
Also, there's nothing ever been done for widows. There is no concessions for widows in Manana. There is in Herzliya, there is in Ramat Hashalom, there is in Bad Hashalom. There's nothing in Manana.
Okay, thanks.
Recycling,
Recycling, okay. Do you know what happened in the past regarding recycling over
Yes,
there?
I do, it's
That's what we
disgusting.
talked
Just a second.
I've heard 10 different stories. I have no
Okay,
idea.
I'll explain. I'll be happy to explain.
Parking.
Park, okay.
Multi-story
Okay.
But in the recycling, there is a available, which is but still a massive problem. At one time, you had more or less everywhere the recovery of batteries, cadmium, nickel, and
Yeah,
so
correct.
on. That has disappeared,
נכון.
and
Hi, good evening.
it's a very easy one to control. It doesn't take so much room.
Okay.
Simply some,
You're correct. Okay.
And also, there is
Try
number
to
of young
get
people,
rid of
you've got
that.
the Ezotas young,
Okay.
and that could easily be used for the secular community who want things,
You're
and
correct.
yet the religious community quite rightly wants part of it to be.
There is no debate on that. There is a complete consent regarding the fact that the industrial parks should be used and can be opened. Yeah, but unfortunately, hi, much longer. Unfortunately, nobody has done anything about it. Okay, but it is something that the municipality should promote. We'll get to that later on.
And we also talk about how there could be some sort of idea for helping young people to stay in Renana with the
That's the
rent
first- that's the
system
first
is
issue.
crazy.
Okay, so let's start.
And synagogue in the Beis Emer, that whole area.
Okay, all right. Let's start. First of all, in my opinion,
Entertainment,
Entertainment.
evening. It's a sleepy town.
it's a sleepy town. It's an area. It's a town in a complete
For
coma.
all ages.
Yeah, sleepy town. You're quite polite,
For
sir.
all ages.
That's why some of us moved here.
Sorry.
That's why some of us moved here from Tel Aviv.
Why? Because the city is in coma.
It's a sleepy town.
Okay. Okay. You know, there's a you know, you should not move from one side to the other. There's so much in between. There's so much to be done in between. Okay. So first of all, in my opinion, we are going to vote for a mayor, and we should keep in mind that our decision should be relevant for the next decade. It is obvious, okay, that in 5 years we're going to have another election. So if the one that you're going to vote will not satisfy you, you have the chance to change. But nevertheless, one should keep in mind that most of the projects and most of the plans that I'm going to talk about tonight take years, okay, to fulfill and take years to execute. Since we are going to talk about our youngsters that are leaving town, okay, and it is of course combined and related to construction, okay, to development. And we are talking about transportation, we'll talk about bike lanes, we'll talk about buses. Some of the activities do take a few years. Nevertheless, there are some that will be done within 60 days and will differ in between each other. I want to tell you that in my opinion, the next mayor should be offering you three things. The first is a vision. And I'm going to talk to you about Ra'anana of 2030. Due to the fact that since I want to have the town in a certain way, at that time, okay, I'll talk to you about what should be done tomorrow in order to get to 2030. By means of smaller classes, okay, it will take us almost a decade to finish the whole project in all over town. And the second part is that our mayor should be well aware about how to manage such a big, you know what, company. If you compare Ra'anana municipality to a private company, okay, it's a huge company. It has a budget of over than 1 billion shekel, exactly 1 billion and 50 million shekel, okay? 774 shekels on our current budget and 270 million shekels on our development budget, okay? In addition, we have almost 3,000 employees in Ra'anana, okay? Almost 1,800 positions, okay? So occupied by 3,000 employees. So it's a big company. You need to manage it all. You need to make sure that the development and the construction will be moving. You need to take care of the education at the same time. You need to clean the streets at the same time, and you need to construct bike lanes at the same time. These are many activities, okay? It's a huge company. One should know how to manage it. You will not give it, okay, to a guy that managed the Vad Bite, okay, with 350 shekel per month by 10 residents, okay? And the third thing, in my opinion, Mayor of Ra'anana should be a star in customer service management. It should be really the northern star, because our municipality, each municipality, deals only with service, 24 hours a day, okay? 7 days a week. So let's talk about our main issue of Ra'anana. And the main issue and our main challenge is keeping our youngsters in town. If you go to the figures, okay, of לשכה מרכזית לסטטיסטיקה, okay, you'll notice that thousands of young Ra'ananians have left this town, okay, over the last decade. And if you watch at Kfar Saba Yeruka, our neighborhood located really over road number 4, okay, 75% of the neighborhood is occupied by Ra'anana residents. It's a complete shame for us. And you know what? 2/3 of them have been under the age of 29, of the guys who left town. Now listen, if we would not have been absorbing Aliyah over the last 6 years at the level of 1,000 people per year, we would have been feeling this leave of Ra'anana really dramatically, okay? The main issue is that the Aliyah is also young, quite young families, okay? So we have not felt it so dramatically, but it is very dramatic. And the way to deal with it starts with many aspects. First of all, construction, okay, because of prices, and I'll explain. But in addition, people come over because they want to have better education, they want to have better culture, they want to have fun. They do not, most of them, do not want to live in a town that is in a complete coma. Okay, we want to have all our services in town, not going to have a passport to Kfar Saba, to hear a concert to Herzliya, to sit in a restaurant to Hod HaSharon or to Tel Aviv. Okay, we want to have our services over here. So let's talk about the prices of our lodging in Ra'anana. First of all, the average price of an apartment in Ra'anana is 2.5 million shekels. 2,300 for a 4-room apartment, and 2,700,000 for a 5-room apartment. And we are occupied, the city is occupied mainly with big apartments, 4 and 5 bedrooms. And why is that? Let's go back to the year 89. 89, Mayor Bielski is being elected for the first time, and he wants to have, okay, a well-founded, yeah, but I mean by means of the population. He wanted to have a high level of socio-economical, okay, people over here. And how could he have done it? By constructing big apartments, okay? Meaning that the price of the apartment was the first barrier by whom will be occupying these apartments. And he succeeded. Nevertheless, people who bought these houses at these apartments from the year 89 and on were at the age of 40 and on, meaning that on 2009 they were 60 and on, okay, and were looking for apartments for their kids. This is the gap of 10 years, exactly 10 years, since the year of 2009 till now, that our youngsters have left town, because we didn't have another alternative. And the other alternative should be by having on 2030, okay, 20% of our apartments at 3 or 3.5 bedrooms. And how could we do it? We can do it by having, by changing policy. That would mean that in our new neighborhoods, one that will be located southern to our park, okay, in between us and Herzliya, on the other side. And the other one which will be located in between Pardes Meshutaf and Highway 531, from Tichon Aviv to the strip that goes from Tichon Aviv to Brenner Street, okay? 50% of these apartments will be of 3 and 3.5 bedrooms. And by that, we will be offering our youngsters an apartment that will cost 1.8 million, okay? It's not so cheap, but it is another option. And another thing is that when I had a few parlor meetings in Palace, okay, in Palace, they told me that many of them have been moving to Palace, okay, since they didn't have any option in order to move from a 5-room apartment to a smaller one, because there are none in Ra'anana. And the reason for doing this, okay, is that we have a plan for Ra'anana. We have already a plan, the Tochnit Mit'ar, okay, that was already approved, that is saying that on the year 2035, Ra'anana will be occupied by 120,000 residents. We are now 87,000, okay? I'm calling my plan Ad 120. Why is that? Because I do not want to go over that. And what do I mean? If we will not move to a new policy of having 20% of our apartments of 3 and 3.5 bedrooms, okay, it will lead to the fact that within 20 years, there will be standing somebody that will compete over the position of mayor. One scoop, it's not going to be me in 20 years, okay? I'm not going to compete. Are you here? Okay. I'm not going to compete over the position of mayor in 20 years, meaning that he'll tell you, listen, the city is very old. In order to have more youngsters over here, he will need to build 15 stories high. And he will need a new plan for 170,000 residents. Meaning that 170,000 residents is, first of all, is twice what we have today. Where will we place everybody? And second, 170,000 residents, you're on the way to Petah Tikva. But you bought Ra'anana. So let's stay in Ra'anana. The second issue, in order to make sure that we'll have more apartments, more small apartments, is the Tama 38. Tama 38 is a disaster for our town. I'm sorry to talk like that, but it is a complete disaster, and I'll explain why. First of all, we do not have enough parking places for the new apartments. Meaning that even though they show, I'm a member of our development and construction committee, and we must approve a TAMA program, although they do not have enough parking places. This is the rules in Israel, okay? Now, so we know that we are leading the town to a transportation catastrophe, but we have nothing to do with it yet. Second, let's say that, you know what, this table would reflect a house in Maccabi, Bar Ilan, Hanki, Borochov, in any of our streets in center of town, okay? 3 stories high, 4 apartments in a floor, 4 or 5 rooms in each floor. Now, and of course, the house is already placed. The staircase are already located, of course. Now, the architect that is planning the new floors that should be given to this house because of the TAMA okay? He has nothing to do. So he will design new apartments, the same as what he have downstairs, okay? The same as what he has downstairs. So meaning that he will plan additional big apartments, okay? In business, it is called a garbage business. Why is that? A garbage factory. Why is that? Because it's a product that the market doesn't need, okay? Now, in order to have new apartments on different sizes, I'm going to move to Tama 38 on 2, meaning that we will ruin the old buildings, okay? First of all, we will dig and we will make room for basements for parking, and then we will be able to redesign the houses to have 3 and 3.5 rooms for the new apartments, and it is obvious that one that have been living in a 5-room apartment will get a new one, okay, of a 5-room. But it will make, we will be able to replace and to construct new types of apartments. So this is regarding how should we offer our youngsters the ability to start their lives over here, okay? I'm going to move to transportation, by your permission. Transportation. I have 2 announcements for you. One is good and one is worse. One is really bad. The good one is that we are located at the opening, at the center of heaven by means of transportation. Due to the fact that we are completely surrounded by highways. Okay? We are surrounded by highway number 4 on the east, highway number 20 and number 2 on the west, 531 at the south with 2 new railway stations, and 541 that is now being constructed up north. The bad news is that if we will not change some of our habits, within 5 years, we are going really to miss the traffic jams that we suffer now. And why is that? I'm going, as a managing director, first of all, I'm going to details. I'm looking for details. I cannot manage anything that I do not know by details. I went, again, to check out Ra'anana, with 87,000 residents, is occupied by almost 31,000 private cars. Listen to that. We are growing over the last decade by 900 new cars per year. We do not add 900 parking places to Ra'anana each year, and we do not add to Ra'anana 3.5 kilometers of road, which is the length of 900 cars. Meaning that we should move to additional and to new transportation habits. And I'm going to talk about our buses, about establishing new method of using our buses in town. I'm going to talk about the bus lanes, okay, and I'm going to talk about a new parking lot in the center of town. Let's move to transportation for 2 buses first. In most of our neighborhoods, buses do not reach them, meaning that most of us cannot use buses, okay? And the reason, you know what is the main reason for that? Why do they not reach our main streets?
They're too big.
They're too big.
Too big?
Our streets are too narrow, okay? A bus of 50 places cannot use our roundabouts in Ra'anana, okay? It is very hard to manage, and the only way to deal with it is either to expand our roads, okay? Which is impossible, but we can use minibuses and minibuses.
Yeah.
Guys, it's a common knowledge. We can use minibuses, and I'm going to sit with the Ministry of Transportation and with Metropolis, okay? And it will take almost a year to replan all transportation, all bus lanes of Ra'anana, and to move most of them to be used, to be occupied by minibuses and minibuses. Listen, I live next to Rehova Ofek, next to Rehova Shachar in Rehova Ofek, okay? No bus arrives over there. Meaning that me and my wife, every morning, we get out of our house, with 2 cars to 3 schools. Listen, you're looking about the reason for the traffic jams in Ra'anana, because hundreds of parents like us, okay, have to take their kids to school, and to the youth organizations, and to friends, and to everywhere. We are living like taxis. Guys, I'm talking to my wife, I'm in Leva Park, free. Let me know when you finish, okay? Before I go to bed, I tell her, I love you. This is how we live. Listen, we're like taxi drivers all day long. Now, the buses, if they will reach every of our main streets, okay, first of all, kids will be able to use them, and most of us as well. And listen, in the economics of transportation, as well as the field that I come from, health, okay, as in economics of health services, okay, the
Offering.
the supply, thanks, no, it was a small blackout. The supply leads the demand, and not the opposite. Meaning that if you have better transportation, and you will be able to use it and to get to where you need, and it will be frequently, okay, and not only a bus per 1 hour, okay, you will use it. And this is what I intend to do, and I intend to plan our routes, because if you go out from Chafetz Chaim nowadays, until you get back home, you visit the industrial park. Why is that? There is no sense for that, okay? Our city is really easy to plan due to the fact that we have Achuza and Weizmann, which are complete parallel. All other streets are sorry? Yeah. All our streets, okay, do cross them from north to south, okay? It's really easy to plan. Second issue, you know about the Natatz plan? Okay. The Natatz plan is the express line that is going to be constructed from Kfar Saba to Tel Aviv, crossing Achuza. I'm going to take that line to 531. And why is that? Because the drivers, the guys that will use these buses in the future, that are going to be using direct line, express line to Tel Aviv, are already placed on 531. 1.5 years ago, before we had 531, a third of the traffic that was crossing Achuza in the morning were Kfar Saba and Hod HaSharon residents on the way to Tel Aviv. Achuza was simply a corridor in between Kfar Saba and Hod HaSharon to Tel Aviv.
That was Pardes Meshutaf, just to be clear.
Sorry?
It was Pardes Meshutaf, not Achuza.
נכון, גם פרדס משותף. You're correct, you're completely correct. But since they are already out, I told Misrad Atachbura already, and I'm not waiting for them to, I'm not waiting to be mayor. I already sat with them 2 months ago, and I told them, I'm not going to let you happen, I'm not going to let this project happen on Achuza. And why is that? They are planning, in order to have the line in between Kfar Saba to Tel Aviv at 55 minutes, okay, they plan to close the right turns to 9 streets going northern to Achuza and 9 streets going south of Achuza. Meaning that you will not be able to turn right to Maccabi, you will have to go to Borochov. Now, how can it be that the traffic on Maccabi, since it's a one-way, both Maccabi and most of our streets, okay, how will this happen? You cannot take the traffic on Maccabi and place it on Borochov because there's no room. And I'm not going to make, I do not want this to happen, because in addition, it will lead us to go in circles in town. Because if you want to go to Maccabi and you went to Borochov, okay, and most of our streets are one way, okay, we will be moving in town in circles and we will create many jams. So I told them I'm going to move it to 531, okay, offering our residents to go on this express line next to the train stations, okay, next to the train stations, since we are already obligated to offer all of you, okay, express buses that will lead all of us to the train station. If we will not get there fast, we will not use it. And I'm talking only about the express line to Tel Aviv, because we will be able to use 501 and 29, all our internal buses that goes in between our cities over here at Hasharon, okay? We're leaving them as usual. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the right lane in between 6:30 and to 9 o'clock in the morning, and in between 4 in the afternoon till 6:30, okay? Only for our internal shuttles by minibuses and midibuses that will lead us, okay, very fast to the train stations. Now, every one of us, everyone that is sitting in this room, and every citizen of Ra'anana is living at a distance of maximum 2.5 kilometers from their houses to train station, meaning that we can use it by that. We are going to save by that 90 million shekels. Why is that? Because they wanted to close the turns by constructing the roads by means of, if you turn right and you're going, there's a curve in the pavement, okay? They are going to replace it to 90 degrees, okay, pavement. Meaning that we will not be able to turn right even at midnight when there is the line doesn't operate, okay? So, and it's going to really cause a big catastrophe. Now, in addition, one thing that you should know, this project had been signed on August 31st, 2016, 2 years ago. It was not mentioned, was not presented to City Council, okay? They have been hiding completely from City Council. And when we, who signed it? The CEO of the Iriya and the Chief Financial Officer. They were the one that have signed it by the name of Mayor Bielski. Of course, they had the priority to sign it, but it's in the name of the mayor. Okay, but they never presented it to City Council. When we got on it, okay, I sat with the CEO of the area. I got the contract, I got the maps, I got everything. Eventually, 2 months ago, I went to Ministry of Transportation and I told them that, listen, I can go to Bagatz and I can nag you for 2 years from now. Okay, I can waste your time. They will not let you operate in between, but everybody loses. Why is that? Because we should also have an express line to Tel Aviv. Okay, we as Ra'anana residents would need this line. Nevertheless, since we share the interest of having a good public transportation, okay, I told them we can do it more efficiently by means of saving 90 million shekels, by having the line going down from 55 minutes to 48 by using 531, okay, and by not ruining our internal traffic ways, okay. So this is it.
Is there any plan
Yes.
for the train to be directly Ra'anana Herzliya? Because at the moment,
Yes,
you
they are
know,
going.
Tel Aviv,
Yes.
it's a crazy.
4 months from now. Yes, that's what the CEO of the Rakevet told us. They now have problems. They have problems in between Herzliya and Glilot. So on February they are going to open it till Herzliya. Herzliya will be our last station, okay, and then it will take additional few months until they will open it completely to Tel Aviv. But on Herzliya you will be able to change trains and to go to Tel Aviv or to Haifa. Yes, it's going to be within 4 months.
But in
Yes, ma'am.
the problem with Herzliya is there are no parking places there, even if you want to go with your car. And it's the same here, there's no parking virtually in the new train station.
There is some way of thinking in our Ministry of Transportation that have led to the fact that on next to Amdocs, okay,
Yes.
they haven't left even one parking place. Okay, they want everybody to go there by public transportation. Over here there are 247 parking places, which is obviously not enough. That's why I mentioned in advance that we need to re-establish a new method of public transportation that will be very efficient and that will be used and that will be able to move smoothly and fast on Achuza, and that's why I do not want to occupy Achuza by Kfar Saba and Hod HaSharon residents on the way just to Tel Aviv. They will not stop for a croissant on Rambam, okay? They want to go to work in Tel Aviv. Bike lanes. Guys, as we say in Hebrew, הכתובת על הקיר, okay? It is written on the wall, but unfortunately, it is written with blood. And I told that many years ago already, since as the head of the Parents Patrol in Ra'anana, we are dealing with our youngsters that use these vicious vehicles, okay? These are motorcycles, guys. These are completely motorcycles. 3 weeks ago, I've been attending the news at Ayala Hassan on Channel 10 talking about that, and I really hope that finally some light will turn on at our ministry, and that somebody will lead to the fact that it will be legalized, okay? Because these are completely motorcycles. Nevertheless, we have the obligation to deal with it internally by means of constructing new bike lanes and by doing it fast. And this is the first project that I'm going to deal with, and I'll explain to you exactly how. There is a complete plan in our municipality for over 8 years of constructing bike lanes in Ra'anana. Nevertheless, they have been allocating budget, okay, for constructing only 1 kilometer and 100 meters per year already. Listen, you know what was the first bike lane in Ra'anana?
Parties when she talked to
איפה?
Ben Gurion.
Ben Gurion.
No, not Ben Gurion. Not Ben Gurion. Ben Gurion is the last.
On Waxman.
Not on Weitzman.
No, on that horse.
They went
up to the area.
Guys, I call it the path of life. You know why? It starts on Machon Tihur Shfachim, okay, and our sewage, and it goes to the cemetery. Now, if you do not enjoy the route, you can go backwards.
I have a question.
Yes.
I made Aliyah from Holland, so I have
From?
some
Holland.
Netherlands.
Yes,
How
sure.
do you want to make bike lanes if you have already not a pavement?
I'll explain it to you. in a
No, but
minute.
before going there, I think there are some very basic things.
Yes.
We have in front of each school, you have a massive panel saying that kids are not supposed to ride a bike till the age of 16. The policeman is there every day and see that.
Correct.
Second thing is, you drive at night, they're all dressed up in black, you can't see
Without
that.
I know.
lights.
Thirdly, there are 2 on a bike.
Yeah.
Not 1, 2 on a bike.
3 on the bike as well.
With the driver on their mobile.
Listen,
Girl with a
I've seen it all. I've seen it all.
No,
We
but-
go out at night
no,
in a police camp, okay?
But
I'm
there is
completely
something else.
Correct, you're completely correct.
No, but
Listen,
very basic things. I mean, you come up with a law which insists that every single bike which are being sold and which enter into Ra'anana must have light, must have a bell, and
And
must
must have a
have visible.
helmet.
Nahon.
listen.
There's
They
a
don't
hard.
have
And
those.
they don't
Wires.
vote.
I think let Nir finish his presentation and we'll ask questions afterwards. Otherwise it's going to go round and
First
round.
of all, you're right. You're right.
You
Nevertheless,
can't just do it.
listen, it sounds very easy, you know?
No.
You can fight.
Let me try to assist you on that, okay? I'm dealing with it. I'm part of the enforcement, okay? Of course, let me finish for a second. We do not give tickets as a parents patrol, okay? This is the police or the pakachim of the area. Nevertheless, when you want to alert a kid, we just want to alert the kids, we want to talk to the kids. When we are using a police cam, okay? When you see a guy wearing black, not using his lights, okay? Listen, they do not use their lights. Everything, you are well familiar with that. I already understood that. But when you want to even approach him and to say, listen kid, nobody sees you, turn on your light, you know what they do? They go on the sidewalk and they go to the other side. Now you're stuck with the police car facing that way, and they are already 250 meters away from you. And they are just frightened. And listen, they were enforcing it on schools. Okay, I can show you a film. If you go to YouTube, do Ra'anana Rochevet Batuach. Okay, this is the name of the film. 8.5 minutes. Mayor Bielski was presenting there. I was presenting there. Even the head of the ER at Ichilov, okay, which is a Ra'anana resident. I used him as well. We have been filming in Ichilov in the emergency room, and everybody knows that the enforcement is not enough. Since so many people are using this, okay, there is not enough enforcement, and you'll never be able to enforce it completely.
Well, that's the
Listen,
thinking generally.
if you see the film, okay, back on 2016, we have been filming the number, okay, the parking of the bikes next to Alon school,
Yeah, all this.
okay? There have been something like 60 or 70 bikes, you know, standing in lanes like this, okay? If you go there now, there is none. Nevertheless, they approach school, they know that there are police guys waiting, and they are parking 100 and 200 meters away. Now listen, this is basically the responsibility of the parents.
Yeah.
Guys,
You know what?
we
You
are
put the
looking, we are
first-
asking our policemen, we are asking everybody to do everything about it, but parents are buying these vehicles,
Exactly.
okay? This is the responsibility of the parents, so, and I tell you what I'm gonna do about that. Because I will never end this phenomenon without the parents. It will never end. So first of all, my plan is built on 3 stages. Constructing 31 kilometers of bike lanes, which will be completely separated from the sidewalks, meaning that they are on the level of the road, meaning that a bike rider do not hurt pedestrians anymore. In addition, these bike lanes are separated from the road by a small sidewalk, okay, at the width of 30 to 40 centimeters. Not like they have done on Ben Gurion, because on Ben Gurion, it's a plastic bumper. Okay, a driver can go over this bumper and hit a bike rider. So by having it as a sidewalk, a small sidewalk, it is completely separated, and everybody is safe. The pedestrian, the bike riders, and the drivers of the private cars. 31 kilometers can be constructed within 3 years, 10 kilometers per year. I'm going to start the first lane next to Metro, on Rehov Palmach. You know why? Because there's an ability over there to have 6,000 riding per day. Because the place is occupied by highway metro school, by Amit Reganim, by the Ofek scouts, okay, by many activities that are happening on the public sports theaters next to metro, okay? So I'm going to start over there and not next to the cemetery. In addition, education. I have been meeting 2 years ago with הרשות הלאומית לבטיחות בדרכים, with אור ירוק, with our safety of the municipality, with parents, with private companies, and we have checked how to do it. And I'm gonna force our education to have the kids going through a session of 2 times for 2 hours that will be instructing them how to use these lanes properly, okay, by means of how to behave when you reach a roundabout, how to behave when you meet pedestrians, okay, a crossroads, whatever. They need to know the signs that are relevant for Ra'anana, okay. Until the government, okay, will enforce having a theory test or whatever, I want to have our kids knowing how to use it properly. And the third part is enforcement. You're correct completely, but if we will have bike lanes, it will be even easier to enforce. Now, I have been running a pilot back then on 2016, using 2 classes at the 8th grade on Halon School with their parents, okay? Since I believe that the responsibility is at the parents. I'm responsible to my kid at 3 a.m. in the morning as well, even when they go out to hang out. Okay? This is it. This is the reason that I founded the Parents Patrol, because kids are drinking alcohol. Nobody knows where they are. They know that you know that they went out with friends. Okay? You're still responsible. And if your kid meet the emergency room at mail, okay, you should know about it and you should be there. So this is my plan for bike lanes and for dealing with the bike phenomenon. And the third part of the transportation plan is constructing an underground parking lot for 1,000 cars under Chanyon HaMashbir going to the underground of Yad Lebanim. Okay?
Oh, wow.
Listen, it's going to take us a few years. It's a big project that Mayor Hofri have already planned it. It's a very interesting project, but unfortunately, politics has led to the fact that it has not been executed already. We could have been now having a parking lot of 600 places at this time already. And why was that? Mayor Hofri has planned this project many years ago, before the elections, since he founded the economical company for Ra'anana. Okay, they have been at a debt of in between 10 to 11 million shekels since they have already starting to plan, and of course they have hired people. Now they didn't find a way to execute this project economically. So Mayor Bielski, when they have competed over the position, he said that we are going to be bankrupt due to the fact that we have a lot of expenses. Eitan Ginsburg, which was the deputy mayor of Hofri, and has helped him to plan this program, okay, opposed to Hofri from his chair as a as a deputy mayor, okay. He joined Bielski. Bielski won. After 6 months, he had overlooked this plan and said, whoa, this plan is really good. And he put additional money in order to complete this plan. And unfortunately, they have not found also the way to execute it economically. And that's what I'm saying. They're supposed to be, Alan, they're supposed to be over the Chanyon of HaMashbir. There's supposed to be 3 buildings. One will be occupied by our municipality offices, okay? It will be all combined from Klausner Street, Salt Street, Achuza Street, Ezor HaTa'asiyah, okay? We have many offices of the municipality, and they will all be moving to one building at the center. Additional 2 buildings will be occupied by private companies, okay, that will pay for that. Now, they have looked for many ways to execute this project economically, but they haven't found a way. And as I come from business, I started looking at it differently. I met already 4 months ago with the vice president of a big public organization in Israel. You are all familiar with the one. Nevertheless, I cannot tell at the moment, since it's completely confidential, these talks. They wanted to have one of these buildings, okay, for 20 to 25 years, and they are willing to pay 150 million shekels for the project. Meaning that if I will be able to find another apartment at the same amount, I will be having 300 million shekels, meaning that I will be able to cover the debts that they have already caused years ago in order to plan this project. Now, the Chanyon, the underground parking is at the method of the parking of Habima in Tel Aviv, meaning that on daylight it will be occupied by the municipality, by the offices, and by people that will come to buy on Achuza Street. I want to revive Achuza. This is the first time that we are talking about waking the city. Okay, we talk about many other issues, but and in addition, at night, due to the fact that I already told you that due to the Tama, we are lacking parking places. Okay, So people will be able to park over there freely at night. People that that live in the center of town. Okay? I want to talk to you a little bit about civil servant, about customer service, about the way that the city is being cleaned, okay? About the service that you get. Listen, guys, the city has been growing over the last years, okay? We're having 87,000 residents. We are having new neighborhoods, new industrial parks. We cannot offer you the same service as Uzi Cohen, the late Uzi Cohen, have offered you, okay, in a very impressive way. You know, he woke up in the morning, he was really a civil servant. He woke up at 6 a.m., every tree knew its position, and every employee knew which tree should he deal with the same day, okay? Nevertheless, we need to change these methods to the 21st century. And first of all, I'm going to divide the town to 6 sections, okay? For you, it's completely transparent. Nevertheless, you will know who is the customer manager, okay, the service manager of your area. Meaning that if you live on Spinoza, you know that the name of the guy is Moshe, this is his cell phone number. And why is that? Because he is going to be judged, okay, by the number of calls that the Moked gets from the streets in which he is in charge of, okay, by the speed of the service, by the quality of the service. It is obvious that even the speed and the quality, by changing a lamp or having some trees, okay, dealt with, or having an underground pipe changed, okay, it's completely different issues. He's going to, like the Comstat in which they manage the police in New York, you know that the commissioners of the New York police have been working like that for already a few years. They have a managerial system, a computerized system, by which they check the crimes, okay? They know what happened where, and by that they can place their efforts. And he's going to use the same method over here, and if you will open the same complaint twice in a week, you'll get a phone call saying, ma'am, can I meet you tomorrow morning? I want to understand what is the problem and why haven't it been solved already, okay? And this is the way to do it in the 21st century. I'm going to use new techniques. Since we are using old techniques, you know that we clean the streets as they used to do it 70 years ago. Using these metal carts, okay, with the plastic garbage can, you know, with the same thing. You know, in Switzerland, they are using vacuuming machines, which are completely quiet, okay? You can move them, which are electrical.
They have a lot of money there.
Sorry?
They have a lot of money there.
Yes, but you know what? Out of our development budget, I'm going to buy this machine. I'm going to buy these machines, okay? And you know that I saw it on Switzerland. I was amazed. It was the bat mitzvah present for my daughters, okay? We've been traveling, and I saw a lady over there which is that high and that width, okay? And she's been using this machine, and she moved it. I was amazed. You know, she just moved it from one side to another. She did like this. It was a vacuuming machine, a big one, completely quiet. It didn't interfere any Swiss resident over there, so it will be easy, it will be okay with the Israelis. Okay. Now, what she's doing in 10 minutes, okay? You need to have 8 cleaners with the old method. Okay. Within minutes, the street is amazingly clean. Now, sorry. Yeah. In addition, I'm going to do another thing which I used at Clarion. I manage the customer service of a district of 380,000 customers, having a telephone call center. I think that 5 to 6 times bigger than the Ra'anana Moked. Okay. Now listen. Every morning I'm going to go out at 8 in the morning till 9 with all heads of the departments in the area, and according to a plan, okay, that you will know of. we are going to visit the streets of Ra'anana, meaning that you will know on the 1st of the month where your mayor will be at the 31st. And if your need knows that on next Friday I'm going to be visit Rehov Spinoza, she'll get an SMS 1 week in advance saying, listen, you need on next Friday, 8 a.m., you can meet your mayor downstairs. Please join us. And the reason is that I believe that you know better your houses and your streets than I will know, even if I will be the mayor for 800 years. Because you know your streets at 3 a.m. in the morning, you know your streets at 8 a.m. in the morning, you know your streets at 7 p.m. Okay? And you'll know better what your needs are. And you will get a protocol of this walk. Okay? We have visited your street. We in English, you will get it in English, yes.
No, I didn't say that. I was saying to my neighbour,
Okay.
we need it, I said to
You
him.
will have it. First of all, if you notice my website, I'll talk about it later, is completely translated to English and to French. Yeah. I've constructed a website at my work for 7 languages. First time I noticed how they use the Amharic language, how they use the writing, 2 years ago. You'll get a protocol of our visit in your street, what are our plans, what we're going to fix, and at what timelines.
We'll have a coffee ready for you.
Thank you. Hey, you're the first one to offer me that. Hey, thank you. Listen, we've been offering the same method for over, this is the 80 and something Parlo meetings. Okay? Nobody offered me the coffee.
There's only one Natalie, that's
Hang up, on what street?
St. Atahoma.
Atahoma. This is going to be the first one. You
Yeah,
want
it's very small.
You want? I know. I used to live in Bola.
Ah,
I used to live on Bola and I moved to Alf. So this is the way to deal with it. And in addition, I want to talk to you about using your taxes. Okay? Any one of you has stopped paying taxes for the last 5 years?
No.
I figured that. Listen, when have you been in our amphitheater for the last time? At the expense of the municipality, not Shlomo Arzi paying privately. None of you.
We go to Herzliya.
When you go to Herzliya, yeah, I know that you go to Herzliya. So listen, when they opened the railway station, okay, there was a big ceremony with the Prime Minister. I was invited. And over there I met Mayor Moshe Fadlon, Mayor of Herzliya, who have told me that the day before they had a show at the park of Herzliya with hosting 7,000 people. Listen, so
Every week.
listen, but he told me, I'm amazed. Half of them were your people of Ra'anana. Guys, I was completely embarrassed. I was completely embarrassed. We have one of the most, Alan, we have one of the most beautiful amphitheaters in the state, okay? And we have to go to Herzliya for a show. So listen, here is my plan, and do not be afraid. We are not going to be bankrupt because my complete plan, okay, cost less than the cost of one Independence Day, okay, of the shows that we host on Independence Day. First of all, I'm going to bring back some traditions that we had over here, and the first one is going to be the concert of Motzei Yom Ha'atzmaut. We are going to start there our summer parties, and we are going to end them on Rosh Hashanah Eve. Okay, there's going to be another concert. In between, once in 2 weeks, we will have a major concert hosting professionals at our amphitheater, open freely for Ra'anana residents. One of the 2 concerts that we will host on July, okay, is going to be a classical concert. And you know who is going to play there? The symphony. Yes. We are paying for the symphony, so why should we go to see them on Herzliya, or you can meet them on January in Eilat? Okay? One of the leading orchestras in Israel, okay? We are paying, listen, out of our taxes, 800,000 shekels to support the symphony, and under the contract, we have to be paid back by free concerts at the amount of 100,000 shekels. So why not to use it? That's why I told you that we are not going to be bankrupt, okay? Because they are going to play freely. I just need to turn on the light to make sure that an ambulance will be behind the stage in order to guard us, and that I need sadranim. This is it.
Well,
This
why
is
haven't
it.
they done it till now?
Aha! Great question. 2013, I'm going back 5 years ago, okay? After the elections, Mayor Bielski won, and there was a debt of almost 30 million shekels, and he decided to cut expenses over the area at all departments, okay? Nevertheless, this was 5 years ago. People, and they moved money ever since to other places, to other expenses, okay? And they forgot to open the Amphi Park. Listen, nobody shouted. Guys, nobody shouted. You just moved to Herzliya quietly. So polite. You all moved to Herzliya.
You move with your feet.
You move even with your feet. But nobody shouted. We are having an African, so, in order to excuse, okay, the closing of the Amphi Park, they said that they want to rent it to more shows, private shows, in order to increase income out of the Amphi Park, okay? It's a complete lie, because the income that we get from the Amphi Park is decreasing each year, okay? Now, for the year 2018, it's going to be 750,000 shekels. The year before it was 800, and the year before it was 850. So first of all, they do not know how to manage it, okay? Because it's a really attractive Amphi Park. One should be hiring it, okay? And it's Shlomo Artzi, okay? He comes every Motzei Sukkot, okay? He doesn't skip it. He loves this place, okay? So we should just use it, and we should use it for the benefit of all of us. We should enjoy it.
What happened to the restaurant in the park, by the way?
I'll explain that in a second. Listen, there are many issues. Listen, you asked about the revacha. I'm going to talk about that, and I'll conclude my talk, and I will be open to any question that you like. I have a specific plan. First of all, my plan is on my website, okay? My complete work platform is on my website. You can do nircrystal.co.il. Everything is there. You can find it all in English regarding my list as well. I will talk about it in a minute. But regarding welfare, I'm the head of the welfare committee, okay? The welfare committee is a free committee. It's not an obligatory committee. It's a committee that should advise the mayor. Since I'm not an advisor, okay, I'm an executor of plans. That's why they call me bulldozer, okay? I have decided to execute plans, and we have executed some plans with Nitzolei Shoah, with elderlies, with kids, okay, with single mothers, and we have executed plans. Nevertheless, I had the chance to better know what is going on around town. And I want to show you, you know what? You're using my phone. No, keep on using it, it's okay. I'll show you, because we have so many amutot, okay, that collect food for people in need. And I never knew, listen, I lived 20 years in Ra'anana. I never knew the
Extent, the extent, the amount.
No, the situation, the situation, the state, the state and the situation of some houses in Ra'anana that look like houses in Gaza. Listen, I went to somebody's house, okay, a big family, having 6 kids. The kitchen is smaller than this part of Yonit's apartment, okay? There were holes in the wall. I not mean that the color was not in a good shape. There were complete holes, okay, in the concrete. I was amazed. Now there are so many people over here in need that we should change the method of how we help them. First of all, I'm going to move out the welfare department. Since there is no room, there's not enough room to host the people in need. You want to talk to a guy privately. There are 2 social workers in a tiny room, okay?
Two
when it,
only.
two,
משרד הרווחה, two.
no, in
Oh.
each office,
Ah.
at the department, or there are many, but in each office, they sit 2 social workers in a very tiny room, okay? Not having enough room to host a guy that is coming to talk about his situation, okay? In addition, I'm gonna increase the budget of the amutot that are dealing with food.
We need space.
I know.
We
And
need
this is the
space.
third part.
I want
Listen, I'm gonna talk.
space.
Listen, it's all in my work platform. I offered it to Mayor Bielski already. He refused back then, but I have replanned it, okay? And it's going to be established in our industrial park. And the place is going to be like that. First of all, there is so many equipment that people just throw out, okay? Like TVs, like computer screens, like sofas that are in really good shape. I'm not going to repair or anything, but if there's, some screws that are missing in a cupboard, okay, we can fix that, but I'm not going to rebuild it. But people are throwing away really so many equipment in good shape, and it can be used to people who are in need. But you do not find exactly the need on the same day. You do not match it always, so you need some warehouse. I'm going to construct this warehouse at the industrial park, okay? And it is going to be used to 2 parts. One for the equipment, and the other part for the... את עזבת במקרה את המצלמה שלי?
כן, אבל אין לו בטריה.
בכלל?
כן, רק...
לא, תביא לי רגע. The other part...
5%.
בסדר. The other part for the amutot that are dealing with food collection. And I'll tell you why. Yesterday, by complete chance, yes, I went to Hanegev Street, okay? And when I went to the parking lot over there, listen, this is what I found. I knew that, but I didn't know that they are using it as well. Listen, it's hard to see, but what you see over here, this is the parking lot under Merkaz El Ram. This is the parking lot under Merkaz El Ram. Listen, they have been collecting food for 120 families for this Friday. They did it all on the floor. There was no light. So they turned off, you see, this is a car over there, okay? It was on in order to have the lights, okay? Everybody will do it like this, using the flour and the oil and everything, putting it in boxes for 120 families.
What about Leket?
Leket is dealing with all the state.
Yeah, but there are a lot of
Leket is a national organization.
Right, so you're talking
Yes.
about just...
But what I'm gonna construct over there, is a warehouse in which they will have frigidaires and freezers and tables for arranging these boxes, and place for housing it, okay, and place for loading it on cars, but nobody will have to bend anymore. And all amutots in Ra'anana, okay, that are dealing with collecting food will be able to use it. So in addition for the amount of money that I'm going to add, okay, I'm going to save you some costs, and you will be able to do it better. In addition, I want to tell you that the budget should be allocated completely differently, since I found out that 400 families of elderly guys at the age of 70 and on till 90, okay, are missing 500 shekels per month, okay, for food. It's 2.4 million shekels per year. I'm still looking for a budget. It cannot go out of the municipality budget completely, okay? But I'm still looking even for amutot and to find how to close this gap. 400 families of old people over here that are missing food. I want to talk to you about my list, about my electional list, about how it's going to be run on October 30th. Listen, we are going to choose by two papers, okay? A direct vote for the mayor on a yellow paper, okay, and vote for the electional list, okay, for the party. I'm heading an electional list called Ra'ananim under the letter of Kuf, the Hebrew letter of Kuf, Kuf for Crystal, okay. I wanted to do it in English crystal clear, but you know, it's only in Hebrew. So under the letter of Kuf, my election list is all members of our election list do volunteer in the community nowadays. I asked many people that I know from volunteering duties in positions which are very important in Ra'anana by means of education, from kindergarten until high school, by youth organizations like the Tzofim, by welfare. Okay, I have a social worker, Smadar Baron, who had been managing the Beit Peri, okay, for autism. People that are dealing with security, with culture, with all aspects of our daily life in Ra'anana, okay? And these are the people that are being members of my election list. We are a complete independent list. As I told you before, I left my work. We have, my wife and myself have been offering these elections 500,000 shekels out of our personal savings. This is why people call me nuts, but, and I think they are correct. But, and the rest was being by donations made by citizens of Ra'anana according to the law, from 1 to 5,000 shekels per family according to the law in Israel. And I want to tell you something about that. Listen, the reason for that we face so many corrupt mayors, okay, in the state is because the funding law of election is completely screwed. And I'll tell you why. You can get loans from private people, okay? One can offer me a loan of $250,000 shekels or 400,000 shekels, and even if I will be able to pay it back, it is obvious that I'm always in a debt, okay? Even if I can pay it all back. Now I'm not going to be obligated to any interest beside the interest of the public, and for that reason, my wife and myself have decided to break personal savings and to collect other donations by the public at the top of 5,000 shekels according to the law, which are all being accounted and registered to the Mevaker HaMedina. Okay, it is all accounted to Mevaker HaMedina according to the law. How can you help us? First of all, you can help us by telling your friends if you liked it, by offering them to go to the website, by offering them to join the parlor meetings, okay? And in addition, I want to ask you for your support in both papers. Why is that? Because the mayor should have a stable coalition, okay? And in order not to spend the budget over holding this coalition, okay, and having this stable, the mayor should have a strong election list, a strong party behind it, and this is the main reason for both papers. Yes, please.
And one question: who's your mankal of your Misrad? It's very important to you to decide who's going to be the guy who's really running the stuff behind the scenes.
And I'll tell you who it's going to be. I do not know, and you know what? Why?
Why?
Because I do not know for a reason. Because I'm not going to offer this job, okay, for people that I'm familiar with, but I'm going to offer this job under an open bid, okay, for people who ran 2,000 employees and more, who managed over 2,000 employees, who have managed a budget of over than 1 billion shekels, and people that will be from the public sector and the private sector as well, okay, will have an advantage over people that have been managing only one sector. It's going to be open. Since I do not know anyone yet, okay, that suits this position, and I do not think that, and this is the reason that why we are somehow corrupted, okay? This is not a personal job. This is not my personal business, okay? It's not the business for my friends. It's the business for people who are familiar with how to run this business. The municipality, as I told you at the beginning, okay, is a huge company in compared to a private company in the market, okay? And I want it to be run by professionals and only by professionals.
The distribution of the jobs, are they going to be fairly distributed between men, women, secular and religious?
Completely. And if you go over, and you're mostly invited to in my website, okay? I have all the electional list. You'll see that it's women and men equally.
And religious and non-religious?
Sure, I have religious as well. Sure. I want to have the presence, okay, in the jobs in the area, reflecting, okay, all kinds of population that live in Rana.
And the people who are in the jobs today,
Yes.
are you going to be keeping them or are you going to be making
We're not going to
changes?
talk about that, ma'am. Sorry. I'm not going to deal with, I call it דיון שיפוצים. Okay? I'm not going to run into personal, this is this is the salaries of people. I'm not going to talk about it. Sorry. I apologize. It's not fair. People have been hiring in the area. It's not fair to talk about it in parliament. I'm sorry.
But a lot of what's been going on in the area is because people have jobs there and they've been there for years and years
I
and
know
years
what is
and
going
nothing
on, ma'am.
is done.
I know what is going on, but I must tell you that, okay? Many people in the area, okay, and it doesn't matter who will be elected, okay? They are at a time, okay, of instability because they do not know what will be within 2 weeks, okay? They do not know what will be the results of the elections, and it doesn't matter who will be elected, okay? So I'm not going to add to that. They are in some instability, and it is completely understood, but I'm not going to add to that. Sorry, I cannot talk about it. I'm sorry. For their sake. For their sake.
Nir, I think in previous meetings we heard a lot about the transparency of the municipality. I think that what happened with the signing of a contract that the CEO dealt with, that the municipality didn't know, the members of the municipality didn't know, and the public certainly didn't know, shouldn't happen. You've got to promise us. That's number one. Number two.
I'll explain my plan about it.
Number two, there was talk of trying to save money by.
Guys, please.
There was talk about trying to save money by bringing back into the employment of the municipality the garbage collectors, etc. We lived through it 20, 30 years ago when it was in the hands of the municipality and we suffered from strikes. The municipality couldn't control the workers that were coming in and saying, if we don't get more money, we're not going to work. By dishing it out to subcontractors, I think we've all benefited. It's also good for the municipality because you know what your budget is and you know how much it costs you per area to collect the garbage. Do not give it out to private hands, please.
I'll tell you, I'll start with that, okay? First of all, the main problem with managing this thing now is that we pay so much extra money, okay? And we really throw out money that should be saved. The expenses of Nikayon, okay, have been rising by 40% in between 2017 to 2018. Enormous number. I asked the CFO of the area, how can it be that in high schools the price had been, the expense had been risen from 1.65 million shekels to 2.1, okay? And at the psychological department, okay, it had been risen from 49,500 shekels to 80,000 in 1 year, okay? We have not added any meter to the high schools or to the psychological, and we have not added more garbage, okay? And the employees have not been starting to throw the garbage on the floor, okay? So he had told me that there was an additional expense of 2%, okay, due to agreements of salaries out of the coming from the government, okay? I told him, I'm free with your 2%, but please explain to me why is it 40? They are missing 38%. Now, listen, I'm gonna change the method of using the cleaning services by fee for service, meaning that until the street will be completely cleaned, they can come 18 times. I do not care. I'm gonna pay only once. Like you pay to a professional doctor. If you go to an orthopedist, okay, you pay once for 3 months, okay, for the whole quarter of the year. If you go to, completely understood? Okay, so we are gonna pay only once for the service, and I'm not gonna, and they are going to be dealing it more wise in order to save money. But we are throwing out so much money. I have a plan for saving 30 million shekels, okay, out of savings of extra expenses to subcontractors and to bids which are being, how do you call it in, I do not know. No, מכרזי מסגרת. Meaning, no, I know tenders, but meaning that you do a tender, okay, a frame tender, okay? If you split this tender to operational tenders, okay, direct tenders, and not to a frame tender, okay, you save so much money. It's amazing. I even met with subcontractors of the Iriyah in order to understand the prices, and I understood that there's so much money going in between, and we will be able to save so much money. And I'm not talking about personnel. I'm talking about frame bids, and I'm talking about improving the methods of dealing with our subcontractors. Going to transparency. Guys, I've been leading the transparency revolution in Ra'anana. They have been opposing for 4.5 years to film and to broadcast online the city council meetings. I'm gonna first of all open all municipality committees, okay, to be broadcasted online. It's going to be saved on our website. You can watch it whenever you like. In addition, once in a year on January, as the President of the United States, the national talk, okay, about the state of the union, I'm going to do the same for the city. You should know what we have been done in the recent year, okay? What was our plan and how did we deal with it? You should be familiar with the budget because nobody tells you anything about the budget. You do not know anything about where the taxes are being spent, okay? And in addition, I'm going to show you the program for the coming year. And for that, I will be willing to have your thoughts and your comments in order for us to improve. Because all the plan everything that we plan is for all of us, okay? And the wisdom comes from the public. It doesn't start on the meeting room of the mayor, on Ahuz 103, on the second floor. It starts on the streets, it starts where you live, because you know better how do you throw your garbage, you know where you park, you know where your kids go to, which school, and how they come back home, and this is it. Yes, ma'am.
So a lot of your plans are expensive, and I guess I'm asking, are taxes gonna go up, or do you know
No.
where you're cutting it from?
No, I told you, I'm going to cut 30 million shekels out of many departments, or out of subcontractors, and I told, in my work platform, okay, you will notice, like the bike lanes, the budget will be allocated out of our development budget, meaning the income that we get from constructing new neighborhoods, okay? It's not gonna hurt our armona at all. I'm gonna increase the educational budget by 10 million shekels, 5 of them on January 2019, additional 5 on 2020. So I'm familiar with the municipality budget. I'm one out of 3 people that are really familiar with the budget, due to the fact that I'm coming from business, okay?
Well, we put into Excel so people can actually figure out how money things.
Listen, I know why you say that, okay? Can I be nasty? It's a complete bullshit, and I tell you why. It is not transparent to everybody, okay? Listen, I do not need the Excel. It is obviously that if I will have the Excel, it will be easier to understand. You're correct. But one should be overlooking the book. You should go over every line of that, like I do. I can show you. You know what? My back, top. Listen. I'm sitting on the budget, okay? I get the budget of the area only 10 days in advance since I'm in opposition, okay? This is the rule, 10 days, exactly 10 days. I do not have the 11th as a privilege, okay? These are protocols it is marked over there, you can see my name. These are protocols of the meetings regarding the budget of the area, okay? Look who's talking over there. Now, you should go over the budget. You can meet the CEO of the area. You can meet the CFO of the area. I'm asking them so many questions. I go over every detail because this is my duty, even though I'm completely voluntary. Oh, it's completely voluntary. But I should go over every detail. Listen, 2 years ago, I sat on the meeting that should have had approved the budget of the coming year, okay? And I've asked them, how can it be that the fine tickets, okay, the income out of fine tickets is going to be increased from 6.4 million shekels to 9.68, okay? You can understand that I recall the budget, okay? 3.2 to 3.28 million shekels, okay, increase in income out of fine without offering you additional parking places.
Because they put all the security cameras on the parking spaces.
Listen, no, but I told them you're completely nuts, because how can it be? We haven't offered new parking places, but we are going to collect additional 3 million shekels out of the public, okay?
Yeah, because you're giving fines out for parking 31 days.
After the meeting, people of the coalition approached me and said, where have you noticed that? I said, it's all in the book. You're the coalition. You had meetings in advance, but everybody takes the budget. One is looking at the culture department, one is looking at the cleaning department, one is looking at the...
That's why Excel is important, it's easier.
Excels are easier, it is obvious, but even though I'll be happy to have this Excel, of course, it will make my life easier. Nevertheless, okay, it doesn't change my duty to completely understand the book, to ask the questions, to meet everybody whom I need in order to understand. And you know, even though if I will have Excel, I will still have 2 million questions, okay? And the CFO knows that before the budget meeting, they get a few pages with questions, I meet with them, I get the answers, and this is the way to do it.
But look, it's obvious to us that the extra parking revenue is coming from fining us for parking 30 minutes over the space.
It's a
That's not what those cameras were supposed to be for.
They have lied to everybody.
And what happened to the brown bins?
To?
The brown recycling?
בסדר. לקח לי שנייה. You jump from one subject to the other. Listen, first of all, the fines, okay? They had, in order to explain the fines, they to hide, okay? They said that they have added new cameras in order to improve our security. Listen, it's not a secret anymore. None of the cameras, even not one, have been added to our city, had been used by Dunai. Thank you. Had been used to improving our security. It was all for
taxes for
extra taxes. It's a shame, and I'm going to change the method, and I'll tell you why. You know that the donations to Vitzo by means of closing on Klausner have been dropping by 50%.
Yeah, because you can't park.
You cannot stop over there anymore.
Correct.
Nobody stops over there anymore, okay? Now, who did we hurt? Us, the community,
Sure.
okay? You know that Ar Cafe, you know Ar Cafe?
Yes.
Okay. You know that Ar Cafe on Motzei Shabbat is occupied by people that are hospitalized on Levenstein, okay, and their families that are coming to visit. Now, when people are coming to visit with the families, listen, a guy like me wants his parents to go out of the car to Ar Cafe. He tries to stop as close as he can. You know, the parents go out in order to meet the relative that is placed on Levenstein, and they want to go to Ar Cafe, and he goes back to the parking. By the time that they just have been unloading themselves from the car, he gets a fine.
Yes,
Because-
because there's a camera.
Nahon? Now listen, there should be places in which you can load and unload people. Just the driver is staying in the car, not waiting for his wife to go to the supermarket and coming back, okay? But for loading and unloading, I cannot stop there anymore. You know, the kids on Friday Eve, okay? There are 150 kids over there. You know why? Because this is the only ice cream shop which is open.
Next door.
Okay, so 150 kids are staying over there next to Ar Cafe and the La Gofa. Okay, you cannot pick up your kids. You cannot pick up your kids. You cannot stop anymore. I stop on Achuza.
But the same thing is on a Chuza Street, when for shops, the unloading, it's
I know.
impossible for them.
This
It's
is
the same,
this-
the
I-
same,
I know this is listen, but I saw it. Just a second. Loading and for shops is completely different since they stop for 15 minutes. They need they need a different solution. You're completely right, but they need a different solution. I mean that I'm going to solve the issue of people that can unload and pick up their friends, okay, and family.
but you've got to also do it for the banana because you're killing the shops there.
I know.
They're gonna,
I know. You're
they're gonna
correct.
disappear.
I know.
Nir,
Ken.
you said something about Como City.
Ma?
Can you speak about that a little bit? How do you think you can revitalize?
כן,
that?
בטח, שנייה, אבל I missed the brown beans. Okay, the brown beans, basically, it's a fault of the state. And I'll tell you why. We have been recycling, we have been separating our garbage, okay? And separating our garbage, you know, to the brown and to the green beans.
Yeah.
Eventually, and there were two trucks, okay, collecting the
And
garbage.
then there were what?
Nevertheless, everybody found out, Ra'anana and other cities as well, that it was all being thrown at the same site, okay? Meaning that now, instead
So
of
what do you
one,
think the appropriate response as a leader is?
the appropriate response is that we should claim the Ministry of Ichut HaSviva, okay? They have not established it is called the endpoint sites. They had, according to this plan of separating the garbage and recycling, they have the duty to establish the endpoint sites in which the garbage is separated. Due to the fact that municipalities have found out, okay, that it is not splitted over there anymore, okay, everybody stopped splitting it in town because it is obviously.
Why not file a lawsuit requiring them to do what they
Listen,
promised to do?
the מרכז לשלטון מקומי, okay, approached the ministry over there and said, listen, we are absorbing, okay, a higher expense, but there is no need for that since you do not do your duty.
There is a need for it.
No,
Here's what I
there
don't
is a need for
Here's what I don't understand.
obviously, but now המרכז לשלטון מקומי is dealing with it, okay, by the name of all municipalities, okay. It should be eventually solved by the ministry, and when they will establish the aim point recycling places, only then will we be able to reestablish.
I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you completely. The brown bins were a waste of time, they were a huge waste of money. Rarely do people use them properly, and they were a terrible eyesore in the entire city. It was a project that should have never been done in
I
the city.
agree.
That's right.
So I disagree with you because I look to our future and our environment. I wasn't raised with recycling, but when I was in Chicago for a minute, my kids came home and said, hey, you can't throw that there. Why? Because they learned it in school. And we can teach it in school, and we can change the society for a better future.
And we have to continue at home.
I have a recycling bin
The people,
for
they put separate, if they ask
four
for, they
glass,
do it. This
four
is,
bottles that go
if you
from,
go to look,
for
then you have a
deposit so
different
that I can
problem.
donate
You have a banana here.
The
People are
recycling bin, the
selling,
brown
they
bins
learn
were
something.
completely empty. And if you go, do a tour at Nir Showroom.
I have it.
Listen, guys, it's nothing that we are going to solve this evening. Listen, it's nothing that we are going to solve this evening because listen, just a second, because I have two questions to answer. Listen, I do not leave until I conclude all the responses, or either that you need to throw me out. Rega, you wanted to ask something and I over response.
Sorry if it doesn't interest anyone else. I wondered if you could give any assurances about the housing and planning department, which seems to be
Housing and
planning. We're trying to refurbish our home, and it feels like we are in a never-ending cycle of sabotage, corruption, and immense pressure and unpleasantness. And I can only say that of the many friends that have had, I know it's a first world problem, who have had the luxury of wanting to adjust their home, everyone has been brought to their knees by the total either incompetence or corruption that exists in that department of the area, which to me beggars belief that you wouldn't want to encourage people to spend money in improving their homes, and yet it's been like a cycle of pain. I can only say.
First of all, you're right, it's a cycle of pain. You're completely correct. I'm going to change the method of managing this department completely, okay? I'm going to change some, we are going to establish, okay, some standard of service level agreements in between the department and the citizens, meaning that you will know the timelines, you will know the costs, you will know who should deal with what, okay, and if one will not execute his duty according to the timeline, okay, you will be able to complain about it. Meaning that I know that it's a cycle of pain due to the fact that you know only when you approach the department and you never know when it ends. I know. I'm a member of the committee and I know that. We are trying to improve it in the committee. Nevertheless, I know what is going on over there. For the same reason, I'm not going to talk more about it. But you can believe me that it's going to be completely changed. I know what is going on. Yes, ma'am. Just a second, Vic, because
Sure.
I owe her the response. Just a second, please. Listen, reviving the city. First of all, we need to have places to hang out. We need to have restaurants. We need to have pubs for our youngsters. My plan is that. First of all, I'm going to take the industrial park over there, okay? And I'm going to create new areas, new mitchamim, okay, for having fun. And why is that? One must understand that if the area, and this is the main fault of the area, dealing with places for hanging out. Listen, Ra'anana is a suburb, okay? As Kfar Saba, as Hod HaSharon, it's a suburb. It is completely different than Tel Aviv or even Herzliya that has a marina and has let's say touristic sites, okay, that absorb
Sharon is even smaller than
רגע,
us.
נכון. I'm
There's so
getting
much
to the
more
point.
to do there.
You're completely right. But one should establish mitchamim like the industrial park, and I'm gonna change Rehov HaYetzira, okay, to a midrachov on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. It's gonna be completely reconstructed, new lighting, new pavements, new road furnitures, okay, in order for it to be attractive and in order for people to come. It will help businessmen to open restaurants and pubs and clubs and cafes. Why is that? Because people do want to know that if they open and they invest okay, in a restaurant, they want to make sure that they will have a crowd, that they will have people. Now, you do not want to open, if you are debating yourself in between Herzliya and Ra'anana nowadays, you say, okay, I'll go to Herzliya. Why? Because I have crowd over there. Over here, if you go and open a restaurant in the industrial park, you never know will you succeed or not. If you create an area like Mitcham HaTachana or like Neve Tzedek, you create, sorry?
An environment.
Okay. If you create an environment in which you know that the area will invest and will make sure that people will come and will offer parking places, okay? Meaning that it is worthy to open. Why is that? Because when we hang out, okay, we want to meet people, we want to see people, we want to go to a live area, we want to have the variety of places, because if you do not want to have pizza, you can go and have a hamburger. If you don't want to have a hamburger, you can go have a cafe. Whatever you like, you want to go to an environment in which you can hang out and enjoy. And that's the same reason for which they closed the cinema at Canyon Ayalon, at Canyon Renanim, okay? Why is that? I went to meet the vice president of the Canyon when they closed the cinema. And I asked her, why have you closed it? She said, the demand has completely decreased. And she said, but you must understand, when you go to a movie, what do you do afterwards? You want to have coffee, you want to sit and talk with your friends. When you go out of the cinema in Canyon Renanim Mall, okay, you approach the food court, okay. First of all, it's completely closed, okay. The main attraction, even when it's open, is McDonald's, okay. So you don't want to go and hang over there. So you go to Cinema City, in which you have restaurants and you have many cinemas and you have
nice theaters.
okay, and you can enjoy. So first of all is this section. The other one will be next to nice. Okay, you know that the area by completely misunderstanding, okay, have been ruining the places at nice. You know why? Because even if you do not approach this section on Zachit Street, if you do not stand in front of this square, you do not know that there's anything over there, like El Cafe and stuff. But in addition, you know what is missing over there? Parking, guys, parking. You know that there's the road over there is 2 lanes each way. רגע, שנייה, I'll explain the park. It's a complete different issue. I'll explain. I'll explain. There's a 2-way road for each direction over there, okay? But you cannot park over there even at midnight, okay? The place is occupied obviously in the morning when the industrial park is busy, okay? But at 7 in the evening, there is no cat on the road. You can take the right lane and offer the people to park over there, and the place will be reoccupied. It's a simple thing to be done, okay? Just to pave the sidewalk with a white lane, to place a sign saying that till 7 o'clock you cannot park over there, and from 7 o'clock it's completely free. Nobody approaches over there. I went yesterday to a meeting on Air Cafe, okay? I didn't have the option to go other way, okay? There were many people that I met over there. Because otherwise I do not approach this area, because I do not have parking. I had to park on Daphne Street, okay? Why is that? The other thing, the other site is the new industrial site on the western side of our town, in western to the railway station, parallel to 531. We are going to construct a new industrial park, meaning building of offices. The road floor, okay, is going to be completely occupied with cafes and restaurants that will serve on a daily basis the workers on these buildings. It's going to be open even on Shabbat. People will be able to hang out. The additional site is next to the Amphi Park. They have now constructed a new site next to the Tachana Delek. Okay, it will be also being occupied, and there is another site for hanging out, which will be closed on Shabbat, okay, instead of the Iriya area, okay? Brenner, Rehov HaShuk, and the area, since all area offices are going to go out to the main site on the, which I told you before, okay, on Chanion HaMashbir. So there we will be occupying this area like Renner, okay, with restaurants and cafe, but this place is going to be closed on Shabbat. Even though under the area building and the two new buildings, it will be all be occupied with stores, cafes and restaurants like we have on Achuza. And there is going to be a nice square over there in between these three buildings. So this is a way to revive the city. The park is going to be used to our youngsters on the weekends, because they now hang out in the gardens all over the city, hanging out, drinking vodka.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to have them. First of all, I want to have them completely safe, so they're going to have the park. I'm going to place there like puffing and like furniture for garden furniture. Okay, they will have a movie next to the lake once a week. And the last thing, for hanging out and having fun for all of us, I'm going to take out the gallery, the art gallery, from its place. I'll tell you exactly why. I'll explain exactly why. You will enjoy it, believe me. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it, but I must explain it. The art gallery is occupied by 200 people a week at the most. Half of them are not residents of Ra'anana. These are friends of these are friends of the artists. Now, if you go there by 7 o'clock, okay, you will not even notice two people inside. Listen, the place is very big, and the place is a place in which I can occupy it until 4 in the morning, okay, without disturbing anyone. So I'm going to take the art gallery to the center of town. I think that for elderly, it's going to be great because they will not have to run to the park. It will be closer to anybody. Nevertheless, this area is going to be occupied from the afternoon by chugim of dancing. Rikudei Am, Rikudim Salonim, Latino, whatever. And the evening, Zumba. On the, you're correct. Private dancing, okay. It's going to be our city's ballroom. This is it.
I've seen it in Herzliya, it's wonderful.
Now, on the evening from 10 p.m., okay, there are going to be parties over there. It's going to be occupied on weekdays. Like one day will be occupied for Pnuim Pnuyot. Okay, you told about widows. One of them will be occupied for Pnuim Pnuyot. On Thursday Eve, it's going to be for our youngsters over 18 coming back from the army. Okay. On Friday night, it's going to be occupied with our students, okay, Chativot and high school students. And on Motzai Shabbat, it's going to be again occupied by 18 plus for our soldiers and our youngsters to hang out in the city and not to have to move out of the city to each activity. They will be able to enjoy it over here. So the place is going to be occupied by 1,500 people a week. Listen, it's going to be occupied, same place, okay, same place is now going to be occupied by 1,500 people a week. Same taxes, same expense, okay? Now, the cost is only a one-time cost of 50,000 shekels. By means of area costs, it's like having, it's 50 grams of peanuts. Okay. Okay. Why is that? Because I need new lamps, new lighting over there. I need new sound over there, and that's it. Because the people that will run it are the chugim owners. Okay. Even the youngsters, I'm not going to offer them as me as a DJ. I'm going to be mayor, not a DJ, and they will not come. They will be operating it. I just need the park to be secured, and that's my main issue. Because I will save the fact that 8 police cars are running over the city in order to guard the kids. It will be completely safe, everybody will know, and they can hang it out until 4 in the morning without disturbing anybody. Have I answered your question, ma'am? Yes. רגע, שנייה ויק, ובגלל זה I'm trying to keep going.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to talk about transportation.
Yes.
Because you talked about it extensively. You mentioned in your discussion your desire to add public transportation, which is commendable. On the other hand, you also mentioned Manana has 31,000 cars, has 900 cars a year, and if you grow the population from 87,000 to 120,000, the likelihood is those numbers will accelerate to that.
Correct.
531 is a main artery, which is important to Ranana. It's changed many things. On the other hand, the people who built 531 had the poor foresight to build one access to 531 in Ranana. That access is a disaster. Now, you tried to help by adding a traffic light. I'm not sure what else can be done, but the fact that all of Ranana, all of the middle of Ranana has to come to 531 from a single point is a disaster, and it's a growing disaster.
You're correct.
And I live on Pardes Mishutaf.
First of all, which number? Which number?
52.
52, okay. First of all, by Toda. First of all, I'm familiar with the problem. I do not yet have the solution for that because we should renegotiate with the Ministry of Transportation.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry, there was supposed to be a second entrance at Musha Dayan, and because the neighborhood complained about it and had enough force, it got canceled.
No.
At least that's the rumor.
No, ממש לא.
No,
ממש לא. It was a debate in between the. I haven't been a city council member at that time, but I recall because I asked Mayor Hofer the same question. I know that the Ministry of Transportation had opposed to that. They claimed, as far as I know, that the entrances and exits are too close one to each other, and they have problems with combining the traffic. Okay, there are too many processes that have to be done over there. I still do not have the solution. I will have to go and sit with them and to see what can be done, since the problem is there. You're completely right.
And if you build, how many units between Brenner and
1,400, if I recall.
what's the problem going to be like then?
It's going to be a disaster. I know. You're completely right. You're completely right. I'm with you completely. Even though when I've seen this plan, okay, I have really been bothered, and I talked at the committee regarding the traffic issue. This is the main issue over there. There's going to be a small interchange in between the internal neighborhood to Ben Gurion. Okay.
It's an access road of sorts.
An access road that is going to go under Ben Gurion and going to go up to the interchange. Yet, it is not the optimal. No, it is not the optimal solution. I know that. I'm still bothered with that. I'm not going to execute it before establishing a solve to this problem. I'm really familiar with that, and I know because you at Pardes Mishutaf, you are the people who most suffer from that issue. I know that.
Can I just ask about payment to the area? Sorry.
Okay, סליחה.
No.
רגע, לא.
One quick question. I see on the protocol that the area has a legal department,
נכון.
yet they pay a retainer to an external legal department of, and what's the point?
There's no point. There's no point. You want my judgment about it?
I want your judgment.
Some kind of corruption, and I'll explain. There's an outsource lawyer, okay, that is being hired by the municipality for already 30 years, okay, most of them without any bills. She's being advising to the development and the construction committee, and the cost was 720,000 shekels per year. 60,000 shekels per month. Listen, she's an outsourced lawyer, okay? The mayor, okay, the salary of the mayor is 39, okay? Yes, mayor's salary is 39. She's an outsourced lawyer, meaning that she can practice other.
She probably does.
She probably does, I don't know, but she can do other things as well. She's being hired for 60,000 shekels. Now listen, 2 years ago, there was a new law established by the state saying that the advisor to the Development and Construction Committee must be one of the legal department of the municipality. And we have forced Mayor Bielski, okay, to have an internal lawyer out of our legal department, being advising to the committee. She has been added to the committee. Okay, the other one has stayed till these days. We offer another law offices. Okay, almost 1 million and I think 1,080,000 shekels per year. Don't catch me with the exact number. Okay, these are enormous numbers. Okay, we do not need them. You know that by the same salaries, I can hire 2 or 3 amazing young lawyers, and we have some of them in the legal department of the area, which are first of all much more enthusiastic. For them, it's a great challenge. Okay, and I have more manpower at the same expense. Okay, but some of it I do not need even. Listen, I'm going to save this money. This money, it's not only in the legal department. We have been talking about it every year in the budget meetings. Okay, upon the meetings that we have to approve the budget. Okay, nothing has changed.
How can the area carry on? Surely somebody's watching it. You know, the mayor.
When nobody complains.
Nobody complains.
Nobody complains. Wow. That's why I want you to be able to have a vision, okay, about the budget of the area. You need it to be transparent. And when there will be a call from the public, okay, it's going to be more dramatic. This is it. This is how it should be done.
Yeah, good for you.
רגע, שנייה. סליחה, רגע, זה היה קשור לזה. סליחה?
Is there no department of internal audit within the area?
No, we have a legal department in the area.
Internal audit.
Internal audit? Yes, we do have an internal audit.
What's it doing?
There are reports. You can read them. Enjoy. I want the reports to be executed somehow, you know? Okay? There are reports about that as well, for many years. Nobody has done nothing about it. Just a second, ma'am.
Due to the fact that the municipality fees have become so exorbitant, why is there no system that a person could not pay per month? You can't pay monthly.
Arnona?
Yes.
You're correct, I'm going to change it. I've got many complaints about it, and and I'll tell you why. They were afraid.
You pay it every 2 months.
No, I know, you pay every 2 months, but they were afraid that if one will be able to pay every month, okay, it will somehow ruin the budget, okay, the income, the fluency of the income. Now, sorry? The flow. No, correct. Thank you. Now, nevertheless, we are collecting the arnona. Okay, we have 97%. Okay, success in collecting arnona on time, meaning that I believe that the people that are paying on time once in 2 months will be paying once in a month if they want to. Now there are many people, okay, who live alone or with lower income or for many reasons, okay, that want to have it split for one time per month, and I think that it's completely reasonable, and I'm going to change we should change the internal or the chok ezer, okay? It's completely easy to be done. Okay.
Yes, there's another problem with Tamar, which is the sheer volume of lorries and concrete mixtures and mixers and blocking up our narrow streets. And it seems to me that there's no organisation, there's nobody organising it so that there aren't two happening in the same place at the same time. And if you live there, it's an absolute nightmare. Where we are now, we have one right next to us, one literally across the road, and another one about to start. And there are times you can't get down the road, you can't get in, you can't get out.
First of all,
surely it should be organised.
You are correct. Nevertheless, one cannot, according to the law. Okay. I cannot stop one building from doing Tama because the neighbors are doing Tama.
You can't delay it. You
No,
can't tell
I
them
cannot
to
delay, because the lady that had left over there had asked, we have to stand according to certain timeline, okay, in approving their projects. And eventually, when we approve a project, they can have the Heter Bniya and start constructing. So I cannot control this. Nevertheless, there should be a small ministry of Tama. As I explained, you can read it in my work platform. Out of the engineering department, the development and construction, I'm going to have a small team that is going to lead the Tama, meaning that nobody is checking on whether they clean the street, whether there are no shabachim staying for the night at these houses, whether the even they close the gates. Okay, there are many things that are thrown on the sidewalks. They block the sidewalks and the roads with concrete pumps. Okay, and with trucks.
Apartments.
I know.
Their stuff.
I know, and you're correct, and this is why.
I'm sure that's illegal.
I'm sure. That's why I'm saying that this minhelet of Tama, this is what she's going. They are going to be in charge of that. Okay, I cannot stop one building from constructing. I can make sure that everybody does it properly. Yes. Any more questions, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.